Hi folks, it's a bastard in here, and remember back in the old good days when you went out and bought yourself a console? All you had to do is to just put that console up, put the game in, and start playing. Quite simple and easy. Well, except for some TV TV channel troubles that you might have encountered, but aside that, well, in these days, when you go out and buy yourself a console, not only you have to plug it into your TV and hope it works, well, in these days it is rather easy, thankfully. But when you pop your game in and turn your console on, the very first thing you have to do is to download some patches. And if that patch goes wrong, well, you have to go and remove the hard drive of that system and install the patches manually if you manage to fuck something up. Well, okay. Once you have popped the game in, you have to install it on the hard drive. Well, once that is done, you have to download some more patches for the game before it starts to even work, and then you have to wait for it to install those fucking patches. It's phenomenal! Why do I have to do this on my console? I didn't have to do that back in the old days. It's just one generation ago. I didn't have to do that. And if I had to do that, it was barely tolerable. Just barely. But even then it meant I've been provided with a unfinished product. This is what we are buying in these days, unfinished products. We shouldn't have to go through all that trouble. Actually, installing games on Windows is much more easier, on your home computer is much more easier in these days than it is to have a freaking console game to work. The point of having a console is just to have it all set it up for you. You just lay down, pick up push in the cartridge or disc or whatever, and pick up the controller and start playing. But no, it's not that simple. You have to download the game, install the game, then download some patches to it, and then download some more patches to it, and then even then it barely even works, if it decides to even work. And the worst part of it all is that I require an internet connection to get to my game to work on console. It shouldn't be this way. This is phenomenal. This is a phenomenon that shouldn't even exist. I cannot express myself enough how much I loathe this current generation of console gaming, how wrong it is, how much our asses are being stretched, and how they are just stuffing a baseball bat up to our anus and we just take it. Oh, it got spikes in it? Okay. Bottoms up. No. With all that trouble I go through installing all those patches and downloading the game into hard drive and fucking updates and all kinds of that shit, I could as well go and buy myself a new fucking graphics card, which automatically outpowers both of the consoles. And, well, pretty much the PC, because with the PC I have to do that stuff anyway, it's, well, way more worth the trouble because I can at least play my PC games at full 60 frames per second frame rate or 120 frames per second frame rate and on full HD mode without any problems. And no, I am not ranting about the consoles having castrated computing powers in comparison. What I am complaining about is that I have to go through an extra mile, extra trouble that I, as a console gamer, shouldn't have to go through just because we are so advanced that we have to have all kinds of downloading and installing and this kind of... Just having a need to have an internet connection in order to play your game is just wrong. It's just something that you're screwing. It's just something that you are screwing your customer up with. You know, there are about, in year 2012, there are about 7 billion people on this planet, and only 2.5 billion people had access to internet connection. Don't you see a problem in there? Don't you see a problem with the fact that you are pushing 5.5 billion potential customers away from your product? Because you have provided me with an unfinished product. And that's what it is. That's what it basically is. You, a console creator, maker, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, you have provided me with an unfinished product. I shouldn't have a need to download anything at all to my console in order to get it to work. Same thing goes for games. The game, it should be beta tested so well already that I shouldn't have a need to download and install anything into my console. It should work instantly. It means that you are doing really sloppy job with your system, with your games, with your everything. You are a failure as a company. You are disappointing me, the customer, at the highest rate. And we accept this? We just accept this? It's a thing that shouldn't even exist. Then there are these freaking morons who are like, well, all the people have internet access today. Well, newsflash for you. America has the worst internet in the world. There are people in USA who have to deal with a fucking dial-up. And if you don't know what dial-up means it's a worst freaking internet connection out there. It's a bare minimum you could ever get. And there are still dial-up systems out there. And not only that, there are over 5 billion people who has no access to internet connection. And even in year 2013, in which we live right now, there are over 5 billion people who has no internet access. There are going to be over 5 billion people who has no internet access in year 2014. There are going to be a lot of people who don't have internet access in 2015, in 2016, in 2017, 18, 19, 20. Do not give me this crap. Because it's complete bullshit. It shouldn't be allowable. It's just when did we get into this point that these developers, they don't even have to beta test their products, that they work? Seriously. If a console demands me to download a patch, it needs to come with an apology that I'm sorry, we did sloppy job and we hope you will forgive us for this oversight. We are so sorry that this happened, that our product had this fault that we had to patch up. Here is a patch. I hope you can still keep enjoying our product. We promise to do much better work from that point on. Yeah, I'm not kidding. They should freaking apologize to me, a customer, just because they made me to download that patch. Because game, when you provide me with a product, I expect it to be perfect. I expect it to be tested, finished, so that all the problems it has are solved already. And if there happens to be a small glitch, game breaking glitch, or something that something that they didn't notice, then it's something that they didn't notice, and they have to fix it, then I expect that fix to come up with an apology to me as a customer. And they should learn from that they should learn from that mistake, that hey, we do better work next time, much more better work next time. So I'm sorry we had to provide you with this patch in order to get our system or console or game or whatever to work, because it shouldn't be required. It wasn't required back in the days because they tested their bullshit so well that if there was a glitch in the system, it was minor one, and people barely even saw it. And if they saw it, that company got complaints up to its ass for that glitch. And if they had to make a patch to repair their problems, to repair those glitches and bugs which the game had, then that patch came up with an apology, and it pretty much means that they were ashamed of themselves. They were ashamed that they didn't notice something that was so important. Even if it wasn't important, it was still a glitch in a system, and they were ashamed of themselves for having that in there, that they didn't notice it, that there were so many gamers that noticed it in there, but they didn't notice it. So yeah, don't let this shit pass. Please, you gamer out there, don't come up with excuses for these patches. Don't come up with excuses like, oh, in these days all the people has like internet access to all these consoles. They've been like designed with internet in mind, even though they shouldn't, because it's a fucking console. And when I'm playing a fucking console game, and especially offline game, I expect to be able to play it offline without having any need for the internet. From the console side, neither from the game side. Unless I am downloading some extra content, then I can understand the requirement for internet connection. But that's a completely different story. So please, you gamer, fanboy, console lover, whatever console is your favorite system, Crapbox, PS4, Nintendo, Wii U, whatever, do not accept this. Send them your complaints. Tell them that you don't want to have to deal with this shit. It's a console. It's something that a everyday jackoff who don't know a fuck about computers, who don't know a fuck about how the technical things work. It is a thing that anyone, even your grandma, should be able to just set up and start playing with no problems. That's what consoles are. If you want to go technical and start downloading shit and installing it and messing up with the fucking drivers and shit like that, then get the PC. That's what PCs are for. But not consoles. Consoles are lazy man's tools. The tools for a guy who don't want to bother himself with that kind of crap. Jeez. Anyways, this concludes my rant about having to download things and how they have been pretty much providing us with half-finished products and how we shouldn't really let this to happen. So, I'm the bastard, I am out.